All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into quercetin and allergies.
Quercetin and allergies. Sounds interesting.
It is actually.
Mhm.
We've got this research article from Molecules, a scientific journal. It's called Quercetin and its Anti-Allergic Immune Response. Came out back in 2016.
Okay, so what are we hoping to find out about quercetin?
Well, I want to know more about like what it is, right?
Sure.
Where we can find it and what the science actually says about it,
Yeah.
helping with allergies.
Yeah. No, that's a great place to start. I think a lot of people probably haven't heard of quercetin before, but they've definitely eaten it, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually one of those compounds that give fruits and veggies their bright colors, and it turns out it has some pretty cool benefits for our health, especially when it comes to allergies.
Okay, so it's not just about pretty colors. This quercetin sounds like it could be a game changer.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff.
Now, the article does mention some complex chemical structures, something about benzene rings. Is that important for us to understand, or?
Well, the article does get pretty deep into the chemical structure, but I think what's important to remember is that this structure, it's what allows quercetin to block certain reactions in our immune system, the reactions that actually trigger allergies.
Interesting. So where can we find this quercetin? Is it like some exotic rainforest plant?
No, not at all. It's actually in a lot of common foods, like onions, for example, especially the outer layers.
Wait, so all those times my mom was telling me to eat my onions, she was secretly giving me an allergy-fighting weapon?
Pretty much, yeah, it's like a natural antihistamine right there in your kitchen.
Wow. What else?
And it's not just onions, broccoli, peppers, tomatoes, tons of good stuff.
Wow, so it's hiding in plain sight in all this everyday food.
Exactly.
All right, but how does it actually work against allergies? Like, what's going on in our bodies when we have an allergic reaction?
Okay, so it all starts with our immune system, right? When we encounter something we're allergic to, certain cells called mast cells go into action, and they release histamine. And that's the chemical that causes all those annoying allergy symptoms, the sneezing, the itching, the inflammation.
So quercetin somehow stops that histamine signal from going off.
Exactly. Quercetin actually stabilizes the mast cell membranes, making it harder for them to release histamine. It's pretty cool.
Wow, so it's like putting those mast cells on silent mode. That's pretty impressive.
It is. It's like having a built-in bodyguard against those allergic reactions. And it doesn't stop there. Quercetin also inhibits the production of leukotrienes.
Leukotrienes.
Yeah. Another group of molecules that contribute to inflammation.
Just a double whammy against inflammation. I like it. So what does the research say about quercetin's effect on specific types of allergies, like, say, respiratory allergies?
That's where it gets really interesting. They've done studies using onion extracts. They actually showed a reduction in allergic reactions in rat mast cells.
Yep.
And in animal studies, quercetin was shown to reduce inflammation in mice with asthma.
So are we talking, like, real-life asthma relief here?
Well, we need more research, but these findings definitely point to quercetin's potential in managing respiratory allergies. The article even mentions these studies done in Finland
Oh, okay.
that linked higher quercetin intake with a lower incidence of asthma, which is pretty amazing.
That's fascinating. But what about people who struggle with food allergies? Does quercetin offer any hope there?
The research on food allergies is still pretty new, but there are some interesting findings. One study showed that rats that were sensitized to peanuts actually had their anaphylactic reactions totally blocked.
Whoa, blocked, like completely.
Totally. All because they were consuming quercetin for a few weeks.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. And the article also talks about these things called dendritic cells.
Dendritic cells.
They're really important in managing food allergies, and quercetin might play a role there too.
So what exactly are dendritic cells?
Well, think of them like the lookouts of your immune system. They're always on patrol, searching for anything suspicious, like allergens. And when they find one, they capture it, break it down, and present it to other immune cells, which then trigger the whole allergic reaction.
So they're like the detectives of the immune system.
Exactly. And get this, quercetin can actually influence how those dendritic cells behave, making them less likely to trigger that whole allergic cascade.
So it's like calming down the detectives before they can even start building a case.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Amazing. This is all sounding really promising, but I feel like we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, we've only just begun.
There's so much more to learn about quercetin.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned, folks, because in part 2, we're going to dive into how quercetin actually gets absorbed into our system.
And how that affects its allergy fighting power.
It's going to be fascinating, so don't miss it.
Welcome back to our Quercetin journey. Last time we were talking about these dendritic cells.
Right, the lookouts of the immune system. Exactly. And how they can set off this whole chain reaction when they find an allergen.
Yeah, and as we learn, quercetin can actually kind of step in and modulate the function of those dendritic cells, makes them less likely to trigger that whole allergic cascade.
It's amazing how quercetin seems to work on so many different levels to fight allergies.
It really does. It's like it's got a whole toolkit.
And remember how we talked about quercetin being a powerful antioxidant?
Yeah, that plays a big role in reducing inflammation too.
Now remind me about antioxidants again. I hear that word all the time.
Yeah, antioxidants protect our cells from damage caused by free radicals.
Free radicals. Okay.
They're unstable molecules. They kind of run around causing all sorts of damage and contributing to inflammation.
So free radicals are like little troublemakers wreaking havoc in our bodies.
That's a great way to put it.
And antioxidants are the superheroes that come in and neutralize them.
Exactly. And quercetin is a particularly potent antioxidant. So it really helps reduce inflammation and protect our bodies from the damage caused by those free radicals.
So it's not just about blocking histamine and leukotrienes. Quercetin is working behind the scenes to prevent the damage that actually causes inflammation.
Precisely. It's a multi-pronged approach, which is pretty cool.
I can see why there's so much buzz around quercetin research. It sounds like it could offer a much safer, more effective way to manage allergies compared to some of the traditional medications out there.
Yeah, it definitely has that potential. Of course, more research is always needed, but it's looking really promising.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the average person who suffers from allergies? Like, should we be stocking up on quercetin supplements?
Well, before you go running to the supplement aisle, remember that quercetin is already in a lot of the foods we eat.
Oh, right, the fruits and vegetables.
Exactly, those are packed with it.
So you're saying we can basically eat our way to allergy relief?
Absolutely. Simple dietary changes can make a big difference. And it's not just about quantity. The way we prepare our food can also impact its quercetin content.
Oh, really? Like,
Well, remember how we said the outer layers of onions are especially rich in quercetin?
yeah.
Try using those outer layers when you're cooking, and don't peel your apples. A lot of the quercetin is in the peel.
Wow. I would never have thought about using onion skins or leaving the apple peel on to help with my allergies.
It's all about making small, informed choices. And that brings us to a really important part of how quercetin works in our bodies. Absorption.
Absorption.
Yeah. Because just eating quercetin-rich foods doesn't guarantee that our bodies can actually use it, right?
Right. It needs to get into our bloodstream to do its job.
Exactly. It's all about bioavailability. And one of the things that affects bioavailability is the form in which we consume quercetin. Remember we talked about those glycosidic forms?
The ones where quercetin is bound to sugars, like isoquercetin and rutin.
Exactly. Those forms are actually easier for our bodies to absorb than pure quercetin aglycone.
So a juicy apple with its quercetin-packed peel might be a better source than a quercetin supplement.
Well, it's certainly a tastier way to get it, but even with supplements, there are ways to enhance absorption. Like, one interesting thing the research found is that consuming quercetin with fats can increase its bioavailability.
So like a drizzle of olive oil on a quercetin-rich salad.
Exactly. Or some almonds with your apple. Those healthy fats can help your body absorb more quercetin. It's all about working with your body, right? Now, the research on quercetin and allergies is super promising, but it's important to remember that this is still an evolving field. We've talked about respiratory allergies, food allergies, but there's still a lot to explore.
Welcome back for the final part of our quercetin deep dive. So far, we've covered a lot about quercetin and from how it works to how to get more of it.
And now we're going to look at how quercetin might affect different allergies, like respiratory versus food allergies.
Yeah, because even though the research looks good overall, I'm guessing there are some differences depending on the type of allergy.
Absolutely. Let's start with respiratory allergies. Remember those studies in Finland?
The ones that linked higher quercetin intake to lower asthma rates.
Right. And the animal studies showing that quercetin can reduce airway inflammation.
Yeah, it sounds pretty encouraging for anyone dealing with asthma or other respiratory allergies.
It is. And if we dig a little deeper into those studies, we see that quercetin actually targets specific pathways that are involved in allergic inflammation in the airways.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, basically, quercetin can block the release of certain inflammatory chemicals, things like histamine and leukotrienes, which are major culprits in triggering those common respiratory allergy symptoms, coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath.
So quercetin's kind of like calming down that overreaction in our airways when we breathe in an allergen.
Exactly. And it's not just about blocking those chemicals. Quercetin also seems to protect the cells that line our airways, making them less vulnerable to damage from allergens or other irritants.
Yeah, so it's working on multiple levels to help us breathe easier. Now, what about food allergies? We know the research is newer, but is there anything that really stands out so far?
Well, one study we talked about earlier was with those rats that were sensitive to peanuts, remember?
Yeah, and their anaphylactic reactions were totally blocked after having quercetin for a while.
Right, that was a big finding. It suggests that quercetin might be able to prevent those really serious, even life-threatening reactions to food allergens.
Oh, of course, we need more research, especially with humans, but it's definitely exciting to think about.
It is. And it's not just about preventing those severe reactions. Quercetin could also help manage those more everyday food allergy symptoms, hives, itching, stomach problems.
Yeah, those are no fun either.
No, not at all. And the research suggests that quercetin can help regulate the immune response to those food allergens, potentially making those symptoms less severe and less frequent.
It's incredible to think that something natural found in the foods we eat can have such a big impact on our immune system and how our bodies handle allergies.
I know, it really is. It speaks to the power of nature and how complex our bodies are. And the most exciting part is we're just starting to figure out what quercetin can really do.
Okay, so final thoughts on quercetin and allergies.
Even though we need more research, I think we can say that quercetin is a powerful natural compound that shows a lot of promise for managing all sorts of allergies, respiratory, food, you name it.
And the best part is that we can get it from delicious foods that we eat every day.
Exactly. So if you're dealing with allergies or just want to be healthier overall, think about adding more quercetin-rich foods to your diet.
Great advice. And as always, talk to your doctor, especially if you're concerned about allergies or thinking about taking supplements.
Absolutely. It's always best to get personalized advice.
Well, it feels like we've climbed to the top of Mount Quercetin. This deep dive has been amazing, and I hope everyone listening feels more knowledgeable and maybe even inspired to keep learning about this incredible compound.
And who knows what we'll discover as the research on quercetin keeps going.
That's the beauty of science. There's always more to learn. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.